Have you ever reheated leftovers, thinking you were making a smart, waste-free, and healthy choice? It's something most of us have done countless times. Pop yesterday's dinner into the microwave, wait a few minutes, and enjoy. But what if I told you that some of the most common foods in your fridge could actually become toxic when reheated? That's right. Foods you've eaten for decades, thinking they were harmless, may pose hidden dangers to your brain, heart, and digestive system, especially as we age. Medical researchers and nutrition experts are now uncovering how reheating specific foods, like spinach, potatoes, eggs, chicken, and mushrooms, can lead to the formation of harmful compounds. These changes are often invisible to the eye and undetectable in taste, but they can quietly contribute to inflammation, neurodegeneration, and even increase your risk for certain cancers. In today's video, we'll reveal the 5 everyday foods you should think twice about before reheating. You'll learn the science behind the danger, hear practical advice tailored for seniors, and discover safer alternatives that protect your long-term health. So stay with us until the end. This could be one of the most important kitchen lessons you learn this year. 1. Reheating spinach, a hidden risk. Spinach is often hailed as one of nature's most powerful superfoods. It's packed with essential vitamins like A, C, and K, as well as iron, calcium, and antioxidants. Many seniors choose spinach to boost their immune system, improve heart health, and even support better vision. Whether it's in a morning omelet, a lunchtime salad, or a hearty soup, spinach has earned its place on the plate. But here's something surprising. When spinach is cooked, stored, and later reheated, especially in a microwave, it can turn from a health ally into a silent threat. The culprit, nitrates. In its raw form, spinach contains naturally occurring nitrates, which are generally considered beneficial. They help with blood pressure regulation and improve circulation, but the problem begins when these nitrates are exposed to heat a second time. During reheating, nitrates can convert into nitrites, and under certain conditions, these nitrites can transform into compounds known as nitrosamines, some of which are considered carcinogenic. This might sound like complicated chemistry, but the implications are simple. Repeatedly reheating spinach could increase your exposure to substances linked to gastrointestinal cancers and even neurodegenerative conditions. For older adults who are more vulnerable to inflammation and have slower detoxification systems, the effects can be more pronounced over time. Let's put this into a real-world scenario. Suppose you make a big pot of spinach soup on Sunday. You enjoy a bowl fresh and store the rest in the fridge. On Wednesday, you heat up a portion in the microwave for lunch. Seems harmless, right? But after a few cycles of cooking, cooling, and reheating, those leftover greens could contain rising levels of nitrosamines, substances that slowly add up inside your body, potentially increasing long-term risk without any immediate symptoms. So what's the solution? You don't need to give up spinach. The key is in how you prepare and store it. Try to eat spinach the same day it's cooked. If you plan to use it in advance, consider eating it cold, like in a salad or chilled soup. If reheating is absolutely necessary, do so gently using low heat on the stovetop instead of high heat or microwaves. Also, avoid leaving cooked spinach out at room temperature for long. Refrigerate it promptly in an airtight container and eat within 1 or 2 days. As we age, the little things matter more. Something as ordinary as reheating vegetables can have ripple effects on our well-being. By being mindful about how we treat foods like spinach, we empower ourselves to make everyday choices that protect our energy, our memory, and our longevity. The goal isn't perfection, just better habits, one plate at a time. 2. Reheating potatoes. A surprising source of risk. Potatoes are a comfort food classic. Whether they're mashed, roasted, baked, or turned into a creamy casserole, they've been a staple on American dinner tables for generations. Nutritionally, they're not bad either, providing potassium, fiber, and a good dose of vitamin C. But here's something few people talk about. Reheating cooked potatoes the wrong way could quietly expose you to harmful bacteria and long-term health concerns. When potatoes are first cooked, their starches soften, making them easy to digest. But as they cool, especially when stored improperly or left sitting out, they begin to undergo a natural chemical shift. This transformation is known as retrogradation, where the starch is hardened into a form called resistant starch. Now, resistant starch itself isn't all bad. It can even help feed the good bacteria in your gut. The problem begins when those cooled potatoes are reheated, especially in uneven or high-heat environments like microwaves. One of the major risks comes from a bacterium known as Clostridium botulinum, the source of botulism. If potatoes are wrapped in foil and left to cool slowly at room temperature, say after a summer cookout or holiday dinner, they create a low-oxygen environment where this bacterium can thrive. Even refrigeration doesn't always kill it. And when you later reheat those potatoes, the bacteria may release toxins that are odorless, tasteless, and invisible, yet dangerous. While botulism is rare, it's not the only concern. The real issue is cumulative. Seniors already have weakened immune systems and slower digestive function. Over time, regularly eating improperly reheated potatoes, especially if they've been left out too long, can introduce small amounts of bacterial toxins that trigger low-grade inflammation, and chronic inflammation has been tied to everything from heart disease to memory loss and even Alzheimer's. To make matters worse, uneven reheating, common with microwave use, may leave cold spots where bacteria survive. You might think your baked potato is hot all the way through, but the center could still be a breeding ground. So how can you enjoy potatoes safely? Start by cooking only what you'll eat in one sitting when possible. If you do have leftovers, cool them quickly. Don't let them sit out on the counter. Transfer them into an airtight container, not foil, and store in the refrigerator. When reheating, use a stovetop or oven to ensure even, thorough warming. And if that mashed potato has been sitting in your fridge for more than 2 days or seems a little off, trust your gut and toss it. Potatoes are nourishing, affordable, and versatile. But just like any food, they demand care and attention. With age comes wisdom, and sometimes wisdom means knowing when to reheat, when to chill, and when to let go. 3. Reheating eggs. When protein turns problematic. Eggs are often called nature's multivitamin. They're inexpensive, easy to cook, and loaded with nutrients like choline, which supports brain health and high-quality protein for muscle strength. For many older adults, eggs are a go-to breakfast item, snack, or ingredient in casseroles and baked dishes. But there's a lesser-known concern that deserves attention, especially as we age. Reheating cooked eggs, particularly using high heat or a microwave, can alter their chemistry in ways that may quietly undermine your health. Let's begin with the basics. When you cook an egg, the proteins inside, especially in the whites, undergo a process called denaturation. This is normal and makes them digestible. However, when you reheat those same eggs, especially after they've been stored in the fridge, they can go through additional chemical changes. One of the key issues is oxidation, especially in the yolk. When cholesterol in egg yolks is exposed to high temperatures for a second time, it can oxidize and form compounds known as oxysterols. These substances have been linked to increased inflammation and may contribute to cardiovascular problems over time. Studies in journals like the Journal of Lipid Research have shown that oxidized cholesterol is more harmful than regular dietary cholesterol, something particularly important for seniors concerned with heart health. But the impact doesn't stop with the heart. Chronic inflammation caused by these compounds can also interfere with brain health. There's a growing body of research pointing to a connection between long-term inflammation and cognitive decline, including conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's disease. For older adults trying to protect their memory and mental sharpness, the way we handle something as simple as eggs may matter more than we think. Another problem? Reheated eggs can become rubbery, develop an unpleasant sulfur smell, and lose their appeal. That change in taste and texture is more than just unpleasant. It's a signal that the egg's structure has broken down in ways that make it harder for your digestive system to process. So what's the smart move? First, aim to eat eggs fresh whenever possible. If you hard-boil a batch for the week, consider enjoying them cold in salads or sliced on toast instead of microwaving them. If you need to warm up an egg-based dish like a frittata or quiche, use low, gentle heat on the stovetop or in the oven. Avoid the microwave. And most importantly, don't reheat eggs multiple times. If you've already warmed it once, it's best to eat or discard it rather than risk further degradation. In a world where every bite can either support or stress your health, being mindful about how we treat even simple ingredients like eggs becomes a small but powerful act of self-care. Because better health often begins not with big changes, but with better habits in the little things. 4. Reheating chicken, a recipe for inflammation. Chicken is one of the most popular protein sources in America, and for good reason. It's lean, affordable, and incredibly versatile. From grilled chicken breasts to baked thighs or hearty soups, it shows up in kitchens nationwide. For older adults aiming to maintain muscle mass and manage weight, chicken can be an ideal dietary choice. But here's a lesser-known concern. When chicken is cooked, cooled, and reheated, especially more than once, it can undergo subtle changes that may quietly trigger inflammation and digestive discomfort. Here's what happens. When chicken is cooked, its proteins denature, meaning they unravel and become easier for your body to digest. That's a normal and beneficial process. However, reheating already cooked chicken, especially in a microwave or at high temperatures, causes those proteins to become even more altered. The structure tightens, toughens, and becomes less bioavailable, meaning your body struggles to break it down. For seniors whose digestive enzymes and stomach acid levels naturally decline with age, this tougher, reheated protein can lead to bloating, sluggish digestion, and even nausea. But the concern doesn't end in the gut. Repeated high-heat exposure to chicken, whether in a skillet, microwave, or oven, can lead to the formation of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are inflammatory compounds that form when proteins and fats are exposed to heat for too long or multiple times. AGEs have been associated with systemic inflammation, a key contributor to heart disease, insulin resistance, arthritis, and cognitive decline. Imagine this. You bake chicken breasts on Sunday night and store them in the fridge. On Tuesday, you microwave a portion for lunch. On Thursday, you reheat the same dish again. While it may seem like a time-saving routine, this repeated exposure to heat increases the likelihood that those once healthy proteins are now delivering a dose of AGEs, along with your meal. Over time, chronic exposure to inflammatory compounds like AGEs can quietly chip away at your health. You may feel more fatigued, experience joint stiffness, or even notice a dip in your mental clarity. These changes are subtle but real, and for older adults already managing age-related conditions, they can add up. So what can you do to enjoy chicken safely? Try to prepare only what you plan to eat within a day or two. If you need to store leftovers, refrigerate them quickly in a sealed container. When reheating, use a stovetop or oven at low temperatures instead of the microwave. Better yet, use cold chicken in salads or wraps. It's still delicious and avoids the risks associated with reheating. Chicken itself isn't the problem. It's how we handle it after cooking that makes the difference. With just a little awareness and a few small changes, you can keep this nutritious staple on your plate while protecting your health in the long run. 5. Reheating mushrooms. The forgotten fungi danger. Mushrooms are a culinary treasure, rich in flavor, packed with nutrients, and a fantastic addition to everything from stir-fries to omelets to savory stews. For older adults looking to support immunity, heart health, and overall well-being, mushrooms offer compounds like beta-glucans, antioxidants, and B vitamins. But what many people don't realize is that mushrooms are also among the most sensitive foods when it comes to storage and reheating. Mishandle them, and you could be inviting digestive issues and cellular stress into your body. The reason lies in their structure. Unlike most vegetables, mushrooms are made up of a unique mix of proteins, enzymes, and delicate fats. These compounds break down rapidly under heat. When you first cook mushrooms, this breakdown helps release their flavor and nutritional benefits. But when you reheat them, especially using high temperatures like in a microwave or frying pan, those same proteins and fats can degrade even further, producing compounds that your digestive system struggles to process. For seniors whose digestive enzymes and gut motility may already be slower, these altered proteins can lead to uncomfortable symptoms, like bloating, indigestion, or that all-too-familiar heavy, sluggish feeling after a meal. And if your gut is already sensitive, reheated mushrooms could worsen the problem. But digestion isn't the only concern. When mushrooms are reheated or even stored improperly, such as in a moist plastic container, their fats and proteins can oxidize. This oxidation can trigger the formation of compounds that increase oxidative stress in your body. And oxidative stress, as you may know, is a major player in the aging process and the development of chronic conditions, including heart disease, cognitive decline, and immune suppression. Imagine you've made a delicious mushroom risotto on Sunday and put the leftovers in a plastic container. The next day, you microwave a portion for lunch. But now the mushrooms taste rubbery, maybe even a bit off. What you're sensing is not just a culinary letdown, it's a signal that their internal chemistry has changed, and not for the better. So how do you enjoy mushrooms without risk? First, try cooking only what you'll eat immediately. If you do have leftovers, store them in a glass container with a tight lid to prevent moisture buildup and slow oxidation. When reheating is necessary, use low heat on the stovetop rather than the microwave. Or better yet, eat them cold in a salad with lemon and olive oil, or mix them into a chilled pasta dish. Mushrooms can still be a star on your plate, but only if handled with care. As we age, minimizing digestive stress and avoiding unnecessary inflammation becomes more important than ever. A little mindfulness in the kitchen can go a long way in preserving both your comfort and your long-term vitality. By now, you've likely realized something eye-opening. The way we reheat our food, something we've done thousands of times without a second thought, can quietly impact our health in very real ways. Whether it's spinach turning into a source of carcinogenic compounds, potatoes harboring dangerous bacteria, eggs oxidizing and fueling inflammation, chicken forming toxins that tax your heart and brain, or mushrooms causing digestive distress, the science is clear. What we do after cooking is just as important as how we cook in the first place. For older adults whose immune systems, digestion, and cognitive functions naturally shift with age, these small choices in the kitchen can either support long-term vitality or gradually chip away at it. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle. Simple changes like reheating gently, avoiding multiple reheats, and storing foods properly can make a powerful difference over time. So next time you open the fridge for leftovers, take a moment to think, is it better eaten cold? Could it be reheated more gently on the stove? Or is it time to let it go and start fresh? If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and sharing it with a loved one who might benefit. Comment below with the biggest takeaway you've had today and how you plan to change your habits going forward. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more practical, science-backed health tips made just for you. Your health deserves that extra moment of care, because small steps today build stronger tomorrows.